Have you ever felt extremely motivated, made big plans, felt like this time will be different, and then a few days later the energy just disappears? The goals are still important, the dreams are still there, but the drive fades, and you are left wondering, why can't I stay consistent? Why do I always lose motivation? Today, we are not talking about motivation hacks. We are talking about the psychology behind why motivation fades so quickly and why your brain was never designed to rely on motivation in the first place. Motivation feels powerful, but it is unstable because motivation is not discipline, it is emotion, and emotions rise and fall depending on mood, sleep, stress, environment, and energy. When you feel inspired, your brain releases dopamine. Dopamine creates excitement and anticipation. But dopamine is meant for short bursts of action, not long term consistency. So when people say, I just need to stay motivated, they are depending on a feeling that naturally fades. Not because they are weak, but because motivation was never built to last. Your brain evolved to conserve energy. Thousands of years ago, unnecessary effort could mean wasted survival resources. So your brain constantly asks, is this effort worth it right now? The problem is modern goals like getting fit, building a career, learning skills, growing a channel have delayed rewards. The brain prefers immediate comfort over distant benefit. That is why scrolling feels easier than studying. Rest feels easier than training. Entertainment feels easier than effort. Not because you don't care, but because your brain is wired to choose immediate relief over future gain. When you start something new, your brain experiences novelty. Novelty releases dopamine. That is why new plans feel exciting, new routines feel fresh, new goals feel powerful. But once the activity becomes familiar, dopamine drops. And without dopamine, the task feels harder, even though it is the same task. So people mistake loss of novelty for loss of ability. They think, I am not built for this. But the truth is, the excitement faded, not your potential. Most people think they quit because they are lazy. But psychologically, quitting often happens to avoid emotional discomfort. Discomfort like feeling behind, feeling slow, feeling not good enough, feeling uncertain. So, when progress feels small, the brain protects your self image by reducing effort. It whispers, maybe this is not for you. You can try later. You are too tired today. Not to sabotage you, but to protect you from feeling inadequate. Willpower feels strong in the morning and weak at night. Why? Because self control uses mental energy. Every decisions you make during the day uses a little of that energy. By the time you need to work on long-term goals, your brain is already tired. And a tired brain chooses easy options. That is why people say, I will start tomorrow. Because tomorrow feels like a fresh supply of willpower. You think motivation drives action, but environment drives behavior more than motivation ever will. If junk food is in front of you, you eat more. If your phone is beside you, you check it again and again. If distractions are nearby, focus feels harder. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your environment. That is why people feel motivated in one place and lazy in another. It is not personality, it is surroundings shaping behavior quietly. People rely on intense motivation bursts, but consistency comes from identity. If you see yourself as someone trying to exercise, you negotiate with yourself. If you see yourself as someone who does not skip workouts, the decision feels automatic. Identity reduces internal debate. Motivation shouts, identity whispers, but stays. When motivation fades, most people panic. They think, I am losing discipline. But understanding the psychology changes the story. You realize motivation fading is normal. Discomfort is part of progress. Your brain is trying to save energy, not ruin your life. And that awareness removes guilt. Without guilt, quitting loses its emotional justification. Motivation was never meant to carry you all the way. It is a spark, not the engine. The engine is built from environment, small repeated actions, identity, and understanding how your mind works. Once you stop expecting motivation to stay forever, you stop feeling broken when it disappears. And that is when real consistency begins. Subscribe for more deep psychology and the hidden mental patterns that quietly control behavior. Because the more you understand the mind, the less it controls you.